Next on stage is Ntare School. Yes, Ntare has a gentleman as they move majestically. They also have a wonderful innovation, which I'm sure you like it. You like it, and it may even help you to go back into another career. Ntare School, are you presenting from there? Just to introduce the team, can we have maybe 2 members here? Ntare School, you are most welcome.
Yes. Testing. Okay. Oh, you have some. Okay. You see what I just did right now, eh? I ate a carrot. I think almost all of us can do this right now. I mean, we have the luxury of stepping outside, you pick a fruit, pick an apple, pick a mango, eat it, and life goes on. But let's look at the facts we have right now. As we speak right now, population is increasing heavily at a very exponential rate. I mean, 81 million people are added on Earth every day. 81 million people are added on Earth. And what will these people be doing? I mean, they have to eat, right? We are humans. You can't live without eating. What else are we seeing? Global warming is becoming a problem day by day. I mean, 2020 was the hottest year ever recorded on Earth. Can you imagine? 2020. Hottest year ever recorded. And years are still coming up. Global warming is still coming up. And the rates are not reducing. I mean, global warming is not going anywhere. Ahumzo Skajana is my name, from Ntare School. Let me tell you a story, a very short story. This story is about a young girl called Evelyn. Evelyn is a girl with big dreams. She wants to achieve very many. But this young girl, Evelyn, is down there at home, seated. Evelyn has spent 24 hours without eating a single piece of food. She's seated down there looking at the saucepans, all cold and empty. There is no food. The mother is seated, no food. The dad is standing, watching, looking at poor young Evelyn and her siblings. I mean, they have no food. They've spent 24 hours without eating. Just the thought of it gives me tears. And then the dad is asking himself a question. Where is the food going to come from? Will I get the money? Even if I get the money, will I afford the food? Will the food be there? I mean, there are so many problems affecting the food supply we have right now. Put me the problems, Alvin. We have seasonal changes. Global warming is a problem. Seasonal changes. The rains are scattered. The rains are harsh. We have pests and diseases. We have laziness and ignorance by the youth to engage in agriculture. We have drought. We have limited land for cultivation in urban areas. I mean, urbanization is going everywhere, and land is becoming more expensive day by day. Property price index of 2020 states that it's increasing at a 9% rate. We have natural calamities. We have high degrees of conservatism. With all these problems, global warming, population increase, Ntare School presents mitigation for the food supply.
So how are we fronting mitigation, you might ask? We are fronting mitigation through UPFARM. What is UPFARM? UPFARM is an eco-friendly, self-sustainable way of growing crops in a controlled environment. UPFARM uses water, which is pumped through pipes that run through the entire structure, and the water is got from underground, meaning that we can actually grow crops in desert areas. Imagine. In desert areas, we can grow crops throughout the year. Also, it's going to be enclosed. It's going to be an enclosure, meaning we're going to need light, because crops need light and warmth to grow. We are going to use LEDs to supply this light, which will be artificial for the crops to grow. Also, we are going to, also the whole system is smart. It's smart in a sense that it uses monitoring systems to monitor the heat levels and the moisture levels, which are connected to clear interface systems, which can be monitored on your phone wherever you are, which means you can do this from wherever you are. So I want to talk about the benefits of UpFarm. UpFarm is self-sustainable. UpFarm looks at maximizing land. Land is scarce. So what are we doing? We are growing upwards. We are going to grow upwards. It's revolutionary, honestly, because if we can grow upwards, it means in 1 acre of land, you can plant what you could have planted on 5 acres, meaning, well, okay, yeah. Then there's a maximization of output. Output is going to be maximized because if you are planting an open space, there are so many things that will affect your crops. There are the pests and diseases, there are the natural calamities that are unpredictable, and there's the global warming that we're stressing that will continue to reduce. Maybe if you are going to get 100% of your yields, you may get 40%. But in this enclosure, we are going to target at least 90% because we are going to be protecting these crops from all these things nature has to offer. Then there's a consistent supply. The crops can be grown throughout the year. Then there is the fact that we are also going to reduce the chain of supply because these things can be set up in urban areas, meaning the cost of production will reduce, prices will reduce. We are looking to tackle the SDGs, number 1, zero poverty, 2, zero hunger, 7, affordable and clean energy. Then there's industry, innovation, and infrastructure, which is number 9. And then there is the life on land, which is number 15. I am Gabriano Rodney, and head on to the demonstration.
Hello. So, first of all, I would like to present a question. Does anyone know why leaves are green? Or some are red, or some are brown? Does anyone know? It's a simple question. I'm not having Rakakega to present to you the biological part. So, please slide. So, everyone knows photosynthesis. Our project is focusing mainly on farming. So, photosynthesis is also needed. So, photosynthesis is a production of food by plants themselves. So, they need carbon dioxide and water. But to join those two elements, they need energy, which is light energy. And as they have already told you, they're going to be supplied energy by these LEDs. And as you can see, there are blue LEDs and red LEDs. Why do you think we use such things? So the reason they are blue and red are only two. The reason why they're blue and red is due to the following. So as you can see by that graph, the absorbance spectrum by the green plants is technically 400 to 500 nanometers for one of the types of chlorophyll known as chlorophyll A, which absorbs about 5%, and then 600 to 700 by chlorophyll B, which is, should I say, an additive to the chlorophyll. And since, for those who understand physics a lot, we know that the lower the frequency, the lower the wavelength, the higher the frequency. So technically, what that graph is showing you that the blue is more needed than the red. So the plant itself knows that, so it has another pigment known as the carotenoids. The carotenoids are responsible for converting that red spectrum, basically the chlorophyll A, to the chlorophyll, basically from chlorophyll B to chlorophyll A, as you can see. Moving on to the water consumption of our project. Of the 100% water that you are going to give your soil, the plant will absorb 90% of that. Of course, the remaining 10% will vaporize out, blah, blah. So the 90% absorbed by the water, only 1% is used by photosynthesis. Only 1%, and the rest is transpired. Thank you. Joshua?
My name is Asimo Joshua, Form 6, Ntare School. So I'm going to talk about all these fancy electronics that are here. First of all, they talked about the LEDs. These are LEDs, they provide light and provide heat at the same time. They have a strip that provides heat. This heat increases the temperatures, which temperatures are recorded by a thermostat. So if the camera could get the thermostat here, it's what regulates the temperatures. It's a W1209 thermostat. So when temperatures rise, because plants basically need 21.111, degrees Celsius for photosynthesis, for growth, basically. That's 70 degrees Fahrenheit. So, after the temperatures and all that, we talk about the water. The water is going to be got from underground to a reservoir tank, from the reservoir tank to the plants. Then from the plants, it's drained to another tank here. So the nutrients are going to actually be recycled, and the water is going to be recycled. It's a cycle. So basically, we are minimizing use of water. You get? We are not going to have to fetch water every now and then. The water that is going to be inside here is going to be reused every now and then. After that, we have an air conditioning system. This air conditioning system is used for circulating the heat within, from the bulbs to the plants, and also circulating the carbon dioxide. What has happened is, this system is supposed to be enclosed away from Mother Nature. It's open. The temperatures have been set to 27 because we can't control the temperatures of this room, as I can say. When it's closed, inside, the temperatures are supposed to be constantly 21.1, not above that. So, thank you very much. This is a reservoir tank. This is a solar panel. We're using green energy, basically. Yeah.
So as Joshua summarizes, I'll do the last brief. Then we go to the business model by Alvin. The pump here you have is supposed to be used for irrigation. So since we are running out of time, they're going to play a demonstration video as Alvin is giving us the business model. Then what Joshua could have forgotten is these fans also circulate carbon dioxide and heat. The idea is that the whole structure is enclosed and can be placed anywhere. So Alvin, give us the business model.
Excuse me?
Yes.
I'm giving you 1 minute to wrap up on that and we'll get into the questions.
Okay. Thank you. I'm Alvin Aaron. Let's talk business. As a project, UPFARM, we are targeting large organizations such as the World Health Organization, the World Food Programme, and our own home government, because this is a project that can actually be largely set up, and such a kind of project is actually feasible to be set up in any kind of place, because considering we have pumps that actually drain water from underground, this water is actually recycled, and this can actually even be self-sustained in a desert, considering we are using solar energy that is always there, and two, the vegetables that we're actually growing are highly marketable. Because this is food, come on. Who actually doesn't want food? Is anyone going to miss lunch today? So food is highly marketable. This is something that is going down, but even considering for places such as these that are actually in cities, this is actually marketable to people that want to set it up here, because I can set it up on probably a floor that will be added on this building. This is something that can be grown fully indoors, and actually when you get to realize that you're cutting down the supply chain, you know you're actually reducing the cost of food, and that means you're actually even covering some of the SDGs that we're actually talking about. Two, we're maximizing yields, considering we are cutting off Mother Nature, only using the sunlight and water, and all these other conditions are kept constant. Unlike too low, you can actually increase the heat. You can increase the amount of light these plants are getting. You can actually know when there is no water or how much water is there. And above all this, I believe...
Wonderful presentation. We now have time for questions from judges and maybe a question from the audience.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. It was a good presentation. Could you be having the cost structure of how much it takes to set up that small thing, or maybe a meter squared? Then also, do you have anything like unit economics? I just need to know how easy is it for me to have a copy of that thing? How expensive or how cheap is it?
One can actually afford. Yes.
If I'm to give a quick approximation of trays, lights, it is.
All right, thank you. Any questions from the audience?
Okay, you put up your hand first. The gentleman. Rogers, give him a mic.
Give him this one. It's here.
Maybe you can speak. Use your natural voice as the mic comes.
Yes. 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 Okay. Rodney, tell them about the market, the target market that we have.
Yes.
The question is clear. They have got it.
We have gotten the question.
Don't ask again. The question is clear.
Okay, I answer, you answer.
You know the answer.
Let me answer.
Reducing chain of supply.
Okay. The answer is quite simple. We gave it in the advantages. We said we're reducing the chain of supply. The moment the chain of supply is reduced, it means that prices are equally going to be reduced. As I said, if he gets the money, will he be able to afford the food? Will the food even be there? So the fact that we are making consistent production of food, we are tackling the issue of will the food be there? Then the chain of supply being reduced will make the question of will I afford it also answered. You get? That's how the story came relevant in our construction.
I wanted to say, I do electrical engineering.
Yes.
If you do, I don't know how much power your system takes.
Yes.
You are talking about economics. You are talking about inclusive digital transformation.
Yes.
If you take the cost of power, I don't know what kind of crop the person is going to grow. You need to return on your investment.
So, talking about power, we are using solar energy, basically. But as per now, we don't have an inverter. And I very well know most of you have not seen a small inverter, a really small inverter. So, we don't have an inverter we are using solar energy, basically. That's for the big project. Also, this is using solar energy. There's a battery, 12 volts. 12 volts is powering the fans, the thermostat, the LEDs. Basically, we need an inverter, which is supposed to be there. So, those LEDs can work on the solar system. They can work with solar. You get? They're not these strong ones which produce a lot of heat. The ones of 100 watts, which cannot work with solar. So this is compatible with solar energy. So basically, we are using green energy.
And a supplement, you might ask a question, why are we running away from the sun? You might be like, the sun is cheaper. Why do we have to get LEDs? Mind you, there is global warming. Temperatures are harsh. There are so many things in Mother Nature which are harsh. Winds will come, rain will come, which you can't control. So enclosing it in this structure gives you the ability to make it controllable. And on top of that, it's consistent. Consistent.
Okay, thank you so much. By name, I'm called Fatima Yacob Sharafeddin, a student of SEDAT. I'm doing electrical engineering year 3. I've liked your innovation, but my concern is, since you're using solar, and we very well know that solar, there is intermittence. Now, in case solar is not there, what other supportive equipments are you having to support this system? And for you are targeting the world, and we know that even in some parts of the world, we don't even see sunshine. How are you going to handle that? Thank you.
Just one word.
Should I answer? Okay, I'll answer.
Different forms of electricity in terms of different places.
Go ahead and respond. In
to answer your question, depending on the type of place we're actually setting this up in, it depends on what is the form of energy, the cheapest source of, because if you go to Ginger, the cheapest source of energy there is actually the electrical energy because it's generated there. But for an area that actually does not receive sunlight, if you find it uses hydro, because this can actually be set up on water.
If you go to Antarctica,
yes. And in Antarctica, they use hydro. Or you can actually use geothermal energy, depending on where it actually is. Thank you.